here's a simple summary. If $500 is the difference, then you shouldn't be buying a scanner because you're not ready for it. Okay,
Mhm.
you're gonna have to invest some time. You're gonna have to invest some resource. You're gonna have to invest some energy. And if $500 is the deciding factor, just don't buy a scanner. You're not ready because you're wasting money. You're not going to be able to incorporate it. You're buying it on price. You don't have the incentive to commit to the learning curve. You're not going to put in the effort to integrate it into your office. So along the lines of what John was saying, it's incredible this many people have CREX. I used it for a long time. I still have it operational, but the average person now has to learn how to scan, learn how to design, learn how to mill, learn how to cook it in the oven, learn how to stain and glaze it, and learn how to bond. I mean, those are monumental steps, and somebody who hasn't done that before from dental school or however long they've been in practice. So what we like with what we're doing is your first step is always a scanner, or generally the scanner, and then some people will master that in a week. Others might take them a year or two. And some are not convinced it's for them. It's human nature. You just know it's not going to work. So we have a imagine the CEREC timelines all squeezed into a weekend that you have to learn all this stuff. Ours is stretched out over a pace that you're comfortable with. And that's worked out really, really well for our users. Whenever somebody comes back to us after they've invested in a scanner and say, okay, what's my next step? I want to manufacture. I'm going to get into this. There's nothing more flattering. That means we've done them right. They didn't waste money. They got the good use out of technology, and they're happy with it. And there's nothing more flattering you can do in your life than help someone, and they come back for more business. You know you're doing your job well.
Yeah, so
So it's been very empowering.
we offer really three or four different levels of courses, Bob, to answer your question. We have these level ones, which are actually not even taught by us anymore. We have groups of local clinicians around the country, like yourself, that will host doctors at their office for a morning, typically a Friday morning, like 10 to 3, something like that. And this level one course is geared at taking someone that's never scanned before, probably, or has not mastered scanning, and lets them leave after a couple of hours, being able to at least scan an upper and a lower arch in a minute or 2 minutes time. Learning all the clinical techniques they need to learn, how to retract the tissue properly, how to dry everything properly, the scan path, the armamentarium you need to scan properly. It's very hands-on, very immersive, usually small groups, like less than 10 people, usually 5 people at those types of events, taught by the CAD-Ray faculty members. And that's free. All these courses, by the way, are free for anyone that's bought any equipment for us for life. We don't make any money selling courses to people that have done business with us. People do pay us, by the way, that have bought elsewhere. People pay us $2,500 a pop to come to these courses. So it is a profit center for us in that regard, selling education. But that's not our main business. We do it for free for the people that do business with us and buy scanners from us. Level 2 is, we call it Intro to Digital Dentistry. It's a very material intensive 2-day course that Armin teaches and has perfected over the last couple of years. Gives people a little bit more than the basics when it comes to scanning. How to not introduce errors into their scans, touches on a little bit of design and different softwares like Clinics and a little bit in Exicad, shows them what their lab is doing so they can have better communication with the laboratory and they can understand what the manufacturing process looks like from the lab side. And then we get into a little bit of merging with CTs and guided surgery, a little bit of ortho, sometimes a little bit of airway, just everything that their scanner is capable of. And we'll finish that off with a little introduction to 3D printing chairside, just so they can see if that's something they might want to pursue in the future or not. And most people nowadays are at least a little bit interested in 3D printing and what it could offer. And so that's a good teaser to the next level course, which is a level 3, introduction to chairside manufacturing, printing and milling. Heavy on design, both in Clinics and a little bit in Exicad, and all the steps and procedures that go into printing something from start to finish, including polishing and glazing and doing whatever has to be done, and milling things, learning a little bit about CAM software and nesting restorations, cooking things in the oven, baking zirconia crowns, baking Emax crowns, polishing, staining, and glazing. And that's a 2-day hands-on immersive course that we do as well. And so actually pretty much every other weekend in Vegas in our training facility there, something's going on. And then we do a scaled down version of that level 2 a few times per year in classrooms and hotel ballrooms, basically around the country for people to come and see.
Yeah, that's great. And I've attended some of your courses and it's been great. I also want to mention that you guys have been kind enough to for the members of my group that even if they haven't bought anything from you guys, they can come to a level 1 and basically kick the tires and see what a scanner is about and do those things. So I appreciate that, and I know some of my members have taken advantage of that to